everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I know how busy you all are. Hi, I'm Vickie Hicks. Morning.
Morning.
I have to start this off with a humorous story. My husband and I love old houses and old things. And so a couple years back, probably 25 years ago, I went to an open house in a neighborhood by Tree, and in their basement, they had 3 church pews, 14 feet long. And they were out of St. Anthony's, beautiful pews. And I told my husband I wanted one. He's like, okay. $70, we bought one of those. And so to get it home, his pickup truck was small. So his pickup truck only came to about here, right? And so we had the rest of this hanging off the end. We lived about 1.5 miles away. So I had to sit to balance it out.
Oh my goodness.
All the way home.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And so this story gets even better. He took it apart because I only wanted 6 feet. I didn't need it. So he took it apart, sawed off the end to bring it down. And it was dark, dark wood. It was actually oak, but it had been painted to look like walnut. You guys know that, right? And so when he turned it over, there was all this glue, all this gum. 70 years of St. Anthony's gum. So he thought it would be great if instead of taking that off, he would just slap over it. So now whenever somebody comes to our house, they all admire my beautiful pew. They sit down and he makes them touch them. I'm not touching the ledge. Anyways, my name is Vickie Hicks. I'm with United Way of the Ozarks. I'm excited for this opportunity to talk to you. I'm going to have one caveat. My team just changed this PowerPoint. Okay, so I had it down, and then they swapped it up. So I'm going to do my notes a little here and there. Greg Burris does send his regards. He is hiking in Arches National Park this week, and we are very thankful he needed a break. We needed a break. As you know or have known, working surrounded by Mr. Burris, he's a man of ideas. We have actually horned off a space in the office where we have a taped out circle, and that's the only place he can bring up new ideas. He can't do it all over the office. He can't do it as he's walking by. He can only do it in that space. So we have a lot of things going. And under his leadership at the United Way of the Ozarks, we have reinvented ourselves. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about those changes. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a video to get started. If you don't, oh, yeah, there you go. We did purposely pause him at an obnoxious spot. So let's go ahead and get started.
Start by changing our corner of the world, but I truly believe that we're on a path to change the world.
From poverty to kids who are in trouble, who kids just need a hug, to parents who are trying their best but need help. And United Way provides that help.
They are definitely an integral part of our development and our presence here in Springfield, and we're really grateful for the connections that we have with United Way.
I think their end goal is to support people who are doing good things in the community, educate the community, and remove barriers to access to services, and then just leave the world a better place.
Really what we want to do is help you understand your community, help you understand the needs in your community, and then provide you the on-ramp to get engaged with your community.
United Way is a umbrella agency that gives people an avenue to serve in the community in a myriad of ways.
The United Way does so much for this community.
We're really focused on building community ownership.
That's the motivation, because we know that there are a lot of people that need help and that we have the ability through the collaboration. I always say the strength of our community is our collaboration.
They are one of the greatest connectors in Springfield.
All we want to do is connect you with the things that you're passionate about in your community. And just imagine if our entire community felt ownership of the community, what a difference that would make. And that's really why we're here.
We have the knowledge, the connections, and the programs that will serve the needs of the community for today and within the next decade.
The United Way is a positive part of who we are.
I believe the United Way exists to make Springfield a better place, and they do an incredible job.
There's a lot of great stuff that's really inspiring that's going on in our community. We want to tell that story. We want our citizens to know and be proud, and think of what a difference that would make if all of our citizens felt ownership of our community. That is a game changer.
Boys and Girls Club, Ozarks Developmental Center of the Arts Council. The United Way of the Ozarks. Give, advocate, volunteer.
So many of you are familiar with, oh, that's not me. That's me. Many of you are familiar with our organization and what we do in the community. Hang on, I gotta get to the right slide. Can you help me out there?
Yeah, let's slide.
Okay, there we go. Many of you are familiar with our organization, but let me just explain this in terms that maybe you can then explain it to somebody else should they ask. We have been in the community for over 90 years. We are formerly the community chest. So of course you remember playing Monopoly as a kid. The centerpiece was community chest, took that card and you helped out somebody in the community. We were formed when a bunch of business leaders wanted to put pool dollars to help philanthropic causes in the community. We are a member of the United Way Worldwide organization. We pay dues to that organization. It's very minimal, but we get all their branding efforts, their legal support, all of that support from them. United Way Worldwide is the single largest nonprofit in the United States. When you give your dollars to the United Way of the Ozarks, 99% stays here. Okay, so that's pretty significant. We only pay dues to 1% to the bigger organization. We have redesigned ourselves since the pandemic started. I started in March of 2020. What a great time to start. I was actually working from home in my previous occupation, and I had to convince myself to go back to the office. That was going to be a pain, you know, to go back to the office. I went back for 9 days. I got sent back home. But that's okay. It was a great 9 days to get to know everybody and what we do in the community. And then we went to Zoom World. So it's very exciting to actually get to speak with people in person. I've been talking to Cindy for 2 years now, and I finally get to meet her. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, let's see. What we'll do is we take a look at the bigger picture. If you think domestic abuse or violence in our community, you think of harm and loss. When you think of homelessness, you often think of the kitchen. If you were to think of mentoring programs for kids, you think of Big Brothers, Big Sisters, or Boys and Girls Club, those types of organizations. But what those organizations do is they operate in their space. They know their space. We know the bigger picture. We take a look at the whole nonprofit community in Springfield. We take a look at the community focus report, the red flags, the blue what? Ribbons. Blue ribbons. There you go. Thank you. And so we take a picture and we say, okay, we've got this space covered in our community. We've got people doing that. But what are the emerging needs? Or what are the existing needs in our community? Where do we need to focus at the bigger picture? And so when we looked at that, we decided a couple of years ago to reallocate our community investment process. And we actually just went through that this spring. So I'm going to tell you about that. But if Cindy were to win $5 million tomorrow, I hope it for you, you would go to an investment expert to ask, well, maybe not you, maybe him. I'm just kidding. You would go to an investment expert to say, what do I do with this? How do I protect this for my family? And so we like to view ourselves as the community investment experts for our community. We vet all the nonprofits we work with. We take a look at the bigger picture, and we're wanting the best future for Springfield. So we invest in programs, not nonprofits. So we want to see the work that is being done, okay, versus we just like this organization, right? So we're just going to give it. So our board has fine-tuned our focus, and everything is going to be focused on, everything we fund has to be either Pathways Out of Poverty or Champion Children. Tons of overlap there. Tons of overlap. But we want to change our community for the future. And how do you do that? You help people get out of poverty and you raise good kids. Two things together is what our focus is. So in the spring of 2022, we sent out RFPs and we said, okay, we're going to redesign our process and everything has to be related to Pathways Out of Poverty and Champion Children, everything. And so our nonprofit partners had to reapply. And it was going to be more competitive. We warned them, this is going to be a big year, okay? And so we had 55 nonprofits compete for our funding that year. We opened up the process to new nonprofits. Some of our partners had been partners for 50, 60 years. And we opened it up to new nonprofits to say, what's going on in the community? We even had a few nonprofits that stepped back and said, you know, we are now self-sustainable. We're going to not apply for funding because we are okay. And we're going to open that funding up for another. We which we admire that. I think that's awesome. So we wanted to move the needle on our two champion programs. So here's how the investment model ended up rolling out. Upstream. Okay, first of all, let me go back just a second. Anytime you designate to a nonprofit, so suppose Cindy is passionate about Big Brothers Big Sisters, and so on her pledge to the United Way, she puts that down, all of that money goes directly to her, off the top. What's left is the Community Investment Fund, and that's what we now apply a 60-30-10 model to. Okay, so 60% of our funding goes to upstream causes to beat those, to provide those pathways out of poverty. Okay, to make people in our community more self-sufficient. That's the move. That's a big play, and that's a long-term plan. That's not, we're going to see results immediately. And in a few cases we have, and I'm going to tell you about one of those in a minute. But upstream, let's go big. Let's go at the root causes of poverty. Safety net is the space we've always been in. That's crisis, that's hunger, homelessness, disaster. That's a space we've always been in. And you've got to often take people out of a crisis, and often it's multiple crises, right, to move them to self-sufficiency. So we got to address the immediate need, and then we can address the long term. And then, as you would know with Greg, he had to throw in some innovation money. And so what we're doing now is we have 10% of our funding goes to innovation of nonprofits, some nonprofits in our community. Some of our partners and some organizations in this community are incredibly innovative. They are. But a lot of times they operate in their same safe space. They do what they've always done. And so we train the nonprofit community to be innovative by working with the E-Factory. We ask them to think of something that hasn't been done in our community to meet an emerging need or to meet an existing need. And then we put them through a Shark Tank competition. We made them come up and present their costs, take questions, and we are very excited about the two new nonprofits, not new to us, but the two new programs that are being funded through the innovation. Okay, so that's our new investment strategy. The community investment panelists are the ones who decide where our money goes. It's not me, Greg, and Rachel sitting in an office saying, okay, let's give this money, let's give that money. You are all welcome to take part as a community investment panelist if you want. We do that every 2 years. We have 60 volunteers who poured over applications and then even met with the applicants for presentations. And it's a very sound process. We are very pleased with how that turned out and so grateful that our donors actually decide where our money goes. Programs are funded for 2 years. If an organization has been with us for a long time, we've been funding them, they applied but did not get accepted into our new cycle, we gave them a parachute payment of half a year's allocations. So we didn't want to leave anybody high and dry. So for instance, if we had an organization we've been funding at $50,000 last year, this year they're getting $25,000 just to ease them out of the process, and they are more likely to reapply in the future. So we try to keep the best needs in mind. So here's our new our list of partners. We have 14 nonprofits, 21 programs in support. The two new ones on our list are Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozarks. They have a new innovative program that is across the country is getting quite a bit of attention. They are doing mammograms for women under 35. If you most insurance companies do not fund a mammogram. And they're detecting early cancer. So we are helping them with that program. And that's keeping families sustainable. When you take the mother out of the situation for treatment, that does cause a hardship for them. And then Good Dads. I love Good Dads. Any of you know of Good Dads? Okay, that organization is moving the needle in our community. They're taking individuals that are recently released from Fordland, and they're teaching them how to be good. A number that was thrown out in the process was that they have recouped over $600,000 in past child support. They're teaching them how to be a good dad, they're connecting them to work, and they're mentoring them through the process. And they want to expand that program into more counties than Green County, and there is a huge demand. So Good Dads is one of our main programs, and that is definitely upstream, right? That is going at the root causes. Any questions about how you see that? Great. Now remember, you can allocate your donation to go to any of these organizations, anytime you want. So if you want your entire donation to go to one of these organizations, please designate. Go for it. We also have a few other impact areas. We serve 14 counties, and we're really looking to move the needle in the surrounding counties. But what we find is interesting, I know my gentleman back here is from Christian County. Bodart, right? Is that Christian?
No, unless they moved it.
Okay, no, they haven't. What is it then?
Green County.
It's Green County, Bodart is- That's great. They must have moved it. That's great. Anyway, a lot of the individuals from surrounding counties come to Springfield for services, or our nonprofits are operating in those counties. We are currently working with EFCO out of Monette, and over 3,000 individuals used our partner agencies out of Monette. So there is a lot of movement in the greater community, but most of them come to Springfield for services. We have 3 additional funds. We have the Cancer Fund, which we administer through Community Partnership in the Ozarks. So if you hear of somebody who is undergoing cancer treatments and they need financial assistance, we can help with transportation, with lost wages. We have that fund available. So if that's something you're passionate about, you can pledge to that. We have a Veterans Fund as well that's done through the Red Cross. So we work in partnership with them to administer the Veterans Fund. It's $500. And so if you hear of a veteran that needs help, just tell them to call Red Cross for us. And then the Let's Get to Work Fund, which is a transportation fund that was established through the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. That's an incredible tool right now. They're running through the thing because there's such a need for transportation assistance. They provide Uber, bus passes. They provide a down payment on a car repair. Sometimes a $300 car repair is what is standing between a family and being on the streets. And so they're able to help with that and get people to where they need to be. We were talking recently to one of the daycare facilities in Springfield, one of the privately held facilities, and she said, and this is so true, you get somebody who can't get to work, you get an employee in a room with kids who can't get to work, and it goes the whole room. And then all of these parents are left without daycare. So let's give them assistance to get them to work so that all the parents can get to work. So it's a huge fund, and we're very excited about that one. And we work in partnership with the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. And that is administered through caseworkers. So you can't just call us to get my car worked. I need $500. No, you have to go through a caseworker. And as I mentioned earlier, designations go off the top. We like everybody to go into that community investment fund so that we can put it through that 60-30-10 model. But so if you don't designate on your form, it goes into the bigger fund. And then you can also designate to those specific funds that we talked about. Funded nonprofit organizations, there is a list, and we've got your QR code on the pledge forms. And by the way, I have pledge forms for all of you to take with you if your department would prefer those over the online portal. And Robert, is the online portal going out, or has it already?
I have a draft for Commissioner Dixon's.
Okay, great. That'll go out really soon for you to use that to give. Also, you can write in any 501c3 organization that you want to give to. So if you're passionate about Convoy of Hope, you can write Convoy of Hope on your form, or even submit it through them. We will take that money that goes to Convoy off the top of our funds and send it to them directly. Okay, so payroll deduction is what we're known for. So if you want to regularly give to an organization, whether it's a partner or not, you can designate to them through our process. And it's directly to you. Okay, let's talk about a life changed. So we were contacted by the Missouri AFL-CIO recently, and they have a very successful program in St. Louis called the BUD program. One of your friends are there. But anyway, the BUD program is an apprenticeship program. As we all know, the skilled trades right now are taking a hit. And if we think that retail and fast food is hard hit, the skilled trades are very hard hit. And so what they do is they take underemployed or underrepresented individuals, and they send them through a 5-week apprentice ready program or exposure program to the skilled trades. So they wanted to bring that to Springfield. They contacted us because they knew we could help provide the resources to help the people graduate. You know, if they needed transportation, if they needed housing, whatever they needed, we could help get them through the class. So the first class was 10 people, started this February. Only 6 graduated. Out of those 6, 5 were homeless. So talking about underemployed, we had a big challenge on our hands. We provided transportation to those individuals to get them to class every day. We provided them food and housing. We gave them a stipend for the week. We helped to get them motivated to get through class. So that at the end of that class, they would be offered an apprenticeship with one of the various skilled trades. Okay, so 5 weeks. One of the individuals in that class that graduated, her name was Sam. Sam had been working hospitality type jobs, was living on her daughter's. Okay. She had never felt wanted. Sam was the first in every class and in every skill. She was the best welder. She was the best plumber, pipe fitter. When they demoed that, she was the best at everything. The unions fought for her at graduation. She was one. Sam is now working, building dorms up at SBU. She has her own place. Her family is reunited. And she's a lot of change. Sometimes it happens overnight, sometimes it takes years, but we want to move people to self-sufficiency, and that's what we're doing in the community. And that program has now got a waiting list. There are over 35 applicants for the next class and only 12 students. So we're very excited about the future of that program and helping to move the needle on poverty. So think about Sam. Easy to do. And hopefully that story will stick with you as you leave here. Our request is simple. Many of you are incredibly generous, and we still appreciate it. But as you talk to your employees, or if you ever want me to come in and talk to your employees, I'm more than happy, or I can get Greg to do it too. He does early morning and late night meetings. I just do the ones during the day. But a $5 gift a month. If we did the math and figured that if everybody in the Springfield MSA gave us $5 a month, that would equal $22 million. Can you imagine the change at Good Dads if we could give them $1 million? And at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and at all those incredibly impactful organizations in our community? My ask is not much, a cup of coffee a month. So if you're a new giver, encourage individuals as a new giver. You really don't feel $5 less. And it's going towards a good cause, it's being vetted, and it's moving anymore. Other ways to engage with our organization, obviously we've got Day of Caring, and we've had a really successful Day of Caring this past year. We also have our Give 5 program, so as you approach retirement or know any of your individuals in your department that are retiring, Give 5 is where they get exposure to the nonprofit community, and then at the end of that program, they can commit to volunteering 5 hours a week. It's a great program that Greg started a few years back. And then also, we are always in need for community investment analysts to go through the applicants for our funding every 2 years, so that we won't need anybody again until the end of 2020. And a friendly reminder, raise your hand if you know about 211. 211 is an emergency resource. I'm going to pass around some cards for you to take with you. So take a bunch, take a few. But if you ever know anybody that needs emergency assistance, they can call 211. It is a number that is managed by the United Way. We have, out of St. Louis, we have 211 coordinator staffed in our office. She feeds the database with all of the resources available in Springfield. So if somebody needs housing, I walked one across a Walmart parking lot to a family waiting, with hardwood ceiling, and just said, hey, I just thought about calling 211. They've never heard. I talked to a security officer, and he said I could use 1,000 of these cards, because I talk to people all the time that are being released from the hospital. So all they have to do is call 211 and get assistance. It's confidential, free help, and it's updated regularly. If you overhear somebody in the line behind you at Walmart and they're saying, I don't know how I'm going to buy Christmas for my kids, the 211 database will have all of the toy distribution sites available. Cooling shelters, warming shelters, we have all of that information. It's as easy as 211. What's surprising is that most of the time that people are in need, they always have. And there is also web access on that too. So it's 211helps.org if they want to just do that instead. Right now, they've got a lot of the database. The calling line is backed up because of some of the flooding in St. Louis. But It's a great resource. And there is also, it's available in Spanish. So 211, help us spread the word. We need help in getting that out. We talked to CEOs all over the community and they've never heard of it. And I'm taking out a bunch to Sheriff Arnott today at the jail because he's got a lot of people that could use that as they leave this. Any questions? Okay. Well, Robert's going to send out the online pledge portal. You do roll over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a draft from Commissioner, or to go to Commissioner Dixon to send out to the whole county.
Okay.
It explains where to go, what buttons to click. And what you-
Exactly. And your campaign does roll over. So if you need to stop it, you need to contact payroll, but otherwise your gift will roll over every year. If you want to up your gift, we love it when you do that. Consider filling out the online portal and you can do that. You can up your gift if you choose to. Remember the church pew with the gum and the fact that we help save. Yes, sir.
I may have missed it, but what is the current budget right now for United?
Distribute 2.5. And so we have 22 million. And if everybody just did a little, it would mean more. Yes.
Vickie, you have some office holders in here. Do you want to talk about at all the new programs that you have, like the duck thing and the other ones? Because some people, some of the office holders may use that against.
We have some cool fundraising tools available to you now. So if you're in an office, I don't know how many staff are in your office. Okay, maybe it wouldn't work there. But if you wanted to do something in the Green County offices here in this facility, we have flocks of ducks. Okay, and you can flock somebody. It's a fundraiser. 150 ducks, rubber ducks, all over their office. And then they have to pay to have them moved, but they can then in turn flock somebody else, right? It's a lot of fun, and you can buy flocking insurance so that you don't get flocked. And so I'm more than happy to provide you with any of those tools if you're interested in doing a flocking fundraiser. It's a great thing to do in like January, February, March when it's awful weather. City Utilities did it recently, and we have 5 flocks. So we've got 5 flocks of 150. They bought all 5 flocks and sent it to one person. Can you imagine all of those ducks all over the office? How fun that would be. So if you are interested in a special event fundraiser, we can set that up for you. And we also have cornhole boards. So if you've got an event coming up and you want to have a tournament, we've got those available for you too. You can borrow ours. They are already taken for every Friday in October, by the way. Especially the last Friday. Everybody wanted cornhole. And we're going to be hosting the citywide cornhole tournament next year at our kickoff celebration in August. So if you had a citywide tournament and Cindy won, she would then be the representative sent to the citywide tournament. You could do this. Yeah, you can do that. So we've got those tools available. So lots of other fun ideas. So if you want to do a special event fundraiser in your office to just raise some extra funds towards your campaign, I'm more than happy. Did that cover it?
Yes, ma'am. I just thought, because
Yeah.
we'll have some follow-up emails about the.
Okay. Yeah, those are some fun things that you could do. Awesome. Well, I believe you. I have got pledge forms. So if you have anybody in your office, I'm just going to leave them up here and Robert will take the leftovers with him. But if you've got anybody in your office that prefers paper, or if you have employees on your staff that don't even access the internet regularly, just take some of these pledge forms and then you just get them back to Robert and he'll take care of them. So you can send them through. Okay. So I'm going to set those right up here if you need them. Who do I turn it over to? You? Who do I turn it over?
It's, you just wrap it up. It's,
Do I need to do a prayer or something?
you can.
I enjoyed visiting with you all. I'll stick around if you have any questions. Thank you for coming.